Hi, this is Andy from GPS Training. In this video we're taking our first look at the brand new Garmin inReach Mini 3 series of emergency two-way SOS communicator stroke tracking devices that we've just got into stock. We're just going to cover some of the new features and the differences that you get with the new version over the inReach Mini 2. I'll also talk about the differences between the Mini 3 and the Mini 3 Plus. I've got out of the box already the Mini 3 Plus, which is going to be our own demonstration unit. If you're not familiar with this type of product, what the inReach Mini is, it's a product that gives you peace of mind when you go off grid and you've got no mobile signal. You can use the device to communicate with family members, friends. You can send them text messages via satellites. You can they get your location when you send that message. You can also have friends and family track you. There's a simple, quick, shortcut message just to let someone know you're okay, like a check-in message. It's two-way communication, so when you send a message, you can receive messages back. As well as the actual messaging to friends and family, you have got an SOS button on the side of the unit, so you can simply press that button to send a message to the emergency services, and then you'll get messages back to let you know that help it's on its way. It is subscription based, but the subscriptions only start from $7.99 a month for peace of mind. If you want to do things like the tracking, where you want someone to track you every 10 minutes, there is a higher subscription for that, but just simply using it as a backup device for emergency communication, $7.99 a month is where the packages start from for peace of mind. Nice thing is you can do a package for 30 days and then you can suspend it for up to 12 months with no additional fees, and then just reactivate it when the device is needed. We also have some navigation features on the device. So it does have a compass built in. It does have tracking on it where you can see your own movements on the screen. It doesn't have maps on it as such. It's a very basic base map that shows outlines of countries with some cities marked. A bit like, I suppose, when we used to do an eTrex 10 or now the eTrex SE device. But what it does allow you to do is record your movements for your own use, and then at any time you can track back to a start point. It'll give you a grid reference. It'll give you an Ordnance Survey grid reference if you're in Great Britain, has other grid systems in the unit. And when you're doing the activities that you're recording, you can mark waypoints. You can actually load GPX files onto the unit, so you can send routes to the unit from the Garmin Messenger mobile app. You can plan routes on the Garmin Messenger mobile app, or just use the app to transfer routes that you've done elsewhere. And then you've got a nice clear pink route line to follow on the screen. It is a colour screen on this unit compared to the monochrome screen of the older unit. So you get a nice pink line with little white arrows built into the line to follow for navigation. So it does have some navigation features on the device, as well as being able to just give you a grid reference. The big thing about these units is the battery life from such a small compact unit. We can get up to 350 hours. That's with the unit turned on and doing 10-minute tracking. So very impressive, 350 hours. It's a robust, tough unit with an IP67 weather rating. It actually only weighs 125 grams, so there's nothing to it weight-wise. And you can see the size of it here. It's a really compact unit. It's only 2.16 inches times 3.85 inches times 1.05 inches. You can use the device totally standalone. You use the mobile app on a phone, the Messenger app, to set up the device and initially send your contacts to the device, activate it, etc. But you then don't need the phone with you to use it. If you do have the phone with battery, you've just got no mobile signal, you can use the Messenger app on your phone just as a bigger keypad to type messages, but it's paired with the device via Bluetooth. It then sends the messages via satellite if you've got no mobile signal, no mobile data. So it is a purely standalone unit, as well as being able to use it paired with a phone. So I'm just going to bring in the older unit, the inReach Mini 2, just so you can see how it looks different, size-wise, and the fact this one's got a colour screen. It's actually a touch screen as well, which is one of the big benefits. So the main two features really that have changed are the bigger screen, it's a touch screen, and it's a colour screen. That's going to make it much easier when you're inputting in text messages directly from the unit, because you're going to be able to use the touchscreen rather than using button control. So I'm just going to move the inReach Mini 3 Plus to the left hand side here, and this is the inReach Mini 2. So if you look at the two units side by side, they're very similar, you know, nice compact units, but you can see how we've got the much bigger screen on the inReach Mini 3. And if I just turn it around on this side so you can see them on the side, very similar thickness. We've actually got a spine mount adapter on the back of the Mini 2 on the right. That's why it just looks a little bit deeper in depth. We have got a spine mount attachment, which I'll talk about later, that you can put on the Mini 3 Plus. But again, remember, it's a little black and white monochrome screen on the Mini 2, which you can see here, whereas we've got the bigger screen here, the colour screen, which is actually, yeah, sorry, I'll just so you can see me actually moving on the screen. It is actually a touch screen, so we can move, so I'll move that one out the way, so it's a bit easier to see. So I can go in on this touch screen if I was typing in a message. We've got a QWERTY keyboard, so we can actually type on a keyboard. I'm just going to cancel that one. We've still got the button control, so I can still say use the back button to come out of here. I find I'm using a bit of touch screen and a bit of button control as well. So we've still got back buttons, up and down buttons. So you can purely use button control on it the same way as we did on the Mini 2, but we've also got the touch screen as well to go between different screens. Just bringing up the compass screen there. I've noticed in the settings you can actually lock the touch screen, so touch screen's not on and you're purely just using buttons. But I think you're going to find it a lot easier using that touch screen when you're physically typing a message, which is going to be a big advantage. When you compare the screen size, actually I'll just bring this one back in just to give you the physical screen size of the predecessor. So the Mini 2 was a 0.9 inch by 0.9 inch display, whereas the new one is a 1.52 inch by 1.14 inch. And again, remember, it is a colour screen. The predecessor weighed 100 grams, whereas this one is 125 grams. So not a lot of difference in weight, but we have got a slightly bigger battery, because on the inReach Mini 2, still a very impressive 330 hours with 10-minute tracking, but we've got the 350 hours now with the Mini 2. Sorry, the Mini 3, should I say, 350 hours. Now, we've got a Mini 3 and a Mini 3 Plus. What is the difference? So there's two things really. The first one is with the Mini 3 Plus, you've got voice messages that you can record. So you can record a short voice message and send that via satellites. You can also, with a Mini 3, if you take some photographs on your phone and you put them into the Messenger app, it doesn't matter if you've got no mobile signal, as long as you're taking the pictures with your phone, you can actually then send those pictures using the satellite service and the paired inReach Mini 3 Plus. So that's the two main differences. Mini 3 still is the same size as the one I've got out here. We just have a black aerial instead of the red antenna, sticking out the top. Looks exactly the same size-wise, same colour screen, all the same features, but the Mini 3 does not have the option to send the voice recordings or the photos that you take on your phone. The unit itself doesn't have a camera. You take the pictures on your phone, but then you're sending them via satellites. There's also an additional siren alert because it has a speaker on the Mini 3, just so that when you're recording messages, you can listen to those messages you've recorded, but it does have a siren so you can alert to bring people attention. If you fall and hurt yourself, yes, you might have pressed the SOS button, but you can set a siren off as well, so people nearby might be able to hear, hopefully, that siren, a bit like we'd use a whistle out in the hills to get attention to ourselves if something's happened. That is the differences between the inReach Mini 3 Plus and the Mini 3. Otherwise, they're the same units. Slight difference of what you get in the box. I'm just going to actually show you what you get in the box now. So with both of the units, you get a USB-C to C cable. So this is your charging cable, and you can use it as a data cable if you were going to transfer GPX files using a computer. and we get a little starter guide in here, just a simple Mini 3 starter guide. Now, one thing that is different with the Plus unit, you do get a carabiner clip, and on the Plus unit, I'll just turn it around, we've got this little loop on the back that we can put the carabiner through. You don't actually get that with the standard Mini 3, but we do sell these carabiner loops as a separate item with the carabiner if you've bought the Mini 3, but that does come with the Mini 3 Plus. So I'll just move the Mini 2 out the way there, so we've just got the new one in view. What we also stock is a spine mount adapter that will bolt onto the back of the unit, and that allows you to use the same bike mount and new backpack tether that we also have for the GPS Map H series and the new inReach Touch handheld devices. So it won't work with the old spine mount attachments or the older accessories, but we do have in now new bike mounts and new backpack tethers that work with the new inReach Touch, the new GPS Map H1 and H1i Plus series. And if you buy the spine mount adapter, the new spine mount adapter for the Mini 3s, you can also use those two accessories. So we're really looking forward to getting out and using this unit and just testing how the touchscreen responds, what the touchscreen's like in the outdoors. Obviously sending messages from it, we know is going to be a lot easier. I'm just going to, before we finish, I'm just going to see if I can actually just show you if I was to actually start an activity, and just to show you what I mean by the map. Hopefully if I can just turn that, I don't know what you're going to see there. I know there's a little bit of glare on the screen from the camera, but if I just tap on the map, obviously it is touchscreen, so I can move it around, but it is what we just call a base map. Actually just see my grid reference appearing at the bottom there, so you can see, yeah, it's not, don't class this as a detailed map. It's really just showing me the outline of the country. I can see Newcastle upon Tyne marked there and some main roads. So it does have like a base map like we used to get on the inReach 10, inReach SE units. I'm just zooming in using the buttons there. So the nice thing is if you were following a route, you'd have a pink line on the screen. You can zoom in using the buttons, or we can move the map around using the touch screen, and then I can use the back button or the arrow icon on the touch screen to recenter it back to where I am, and then you would just follow a route on the screen. But it hasn't physically got a map on, but if you were following a route, you'll have a nice pink line on the screen. We'll start doing some more videos as we get out and start using the unit. And I'm just going to come back out of here now, and I should be able to just, if I go into my activity controls, again, it's nice, I'm using the touch screen, which feels nice and responsive, just to discard that activity. So for more information on these two new products, if you visit our website, www.gpstraining.co.uk, and on our GPS store, you'll find in the menus two-way satellite communicators, where we've got both the inReach Mini 3 and the brand new inReach Mini 3 Plus. We still have Mini 2s in stock at a great price. So if you're not worried about the colour screen and the touch screen or the new features with the voice messages and the photos, there's some great deals to be had if you're still looking for a great emergency two-way satellite communicator with the Mini 2. But we are really liking the look of this new unit: colour screen, touch screen, bigger screen, and being able to send the photos and voice messages. So I hope you found this video useful, and thanks for watching.